WNBA games that you watch. And Kiki Iriafin in the center jump circle, and we are underway from Indianapolis, looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. In their 3rd consecutive game without Caitlin Clark, they'll be without her for at least one more after this, and then she'll be reevaluated from there with that quad strain.
3 sides in the first possession, 4 sides playing through the elbows.
Wilson's first shot rims out. Wilson makes her 3rd start, all in place of Caitlin Clark. Here's Sykes, 21 points per game, 4th in the league. Dolson rolling, taken away by Colson. It's a 3-on-2. Colson right up the middle, and she'll take it in for 2.
Really good defensive reaction. Nice job to get that steal and then finish at the rim by Colson. It's good to see her playing healthy. She looked good in shoot-around this morning as well.
There's the rookie Citron into the corner. Sykes, who's averaging 22 per game, misses long on her first attempt. These 2 teams played just last week in Baltimore, a Washington win by 6. The teams have played in so many close games here early in the season. Indiana's 4 losses have come by a combined 11 points, and that's a good start for Kelsey Mitchell.
Yeah, Stephanie Dolson on the switch has no chance on that. Kelsey Mitchell, the fastest player in the league with the ball in her hands.
She's been struggling just a little bit her last couple of games. We are now into June, which is typically when Kelsey Mitchell turns things on. Talked about that at practice yesterday. June has been her month the last few years. Here's Finn stepping through, and she's called for steps.
Good D, one-on-one. I think these are the things Indiana has to do. Guard the ball first, the action second, play faster in their pace and decision-making, and be disruptive with their defense. Throw off the timing of Washington.
Debbie's Keys are presented by Lexus TX. Dangerous pass there from Colson. And a moving screen called on Boston. It was not set when Mitchell started moving. There is the head and an assistant. Many people thought this Mystics team would be in for a major rebuild. They look more of a playoff contender here through their first 7.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. I think that's why they look ahead of schedule. They played in some close games, which is only going to benefit them when we get into July and August.
Citron, beautiful find inside to Iriafin. Washington's coming off a 22-point loss to New York. Before that, every single one of their first 6 games was decided by 6 points or less.
That's a smart play by Colson.
Mitchell off the mark on a 3, ping-pongs around. Howard couldn't come down with it.
You call that a boomerang pass. When you see a mismatch, you give it right back, and that's exactly what Colson did. She's been aggressive here to start the game.
Shoot Sutton off balance, knocks down her first look. Oh, and Howard got in behind the defense, just couldn't finish inside. That's going to be a goal of Indiana's here tonight. They were held to 0 fast break points in that Wednesday matchup in Baltimore. The Fever already had those early 2 from Sydney Colson, so they've already got more than they did last week as Dolson misses from the mid-range.
Well, Indiana 11th in the league in fast break points, but that will change when Caitlin Clark comes back.
Howard had it knocked away there by Dolson. Citron bounced pass and Hull took it right away for Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana looks really locked in on the defensive end to start the game.
Hull, Howard, way off there on a 3. Fever are coming off a 2-point loss to Connecticut on Friday. The Sun came into Indianapolis, earned their first win.
It facilitates the space, the timing, the rhythm, and her 19 points per game. And then Sophie Cunningham, they miss her versatility, her interchangeability on defense, her ability to knock down, catch and shoot threes. You know, this Indiana team hasn't been whole yet. They've had pieces out, but I believe Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham taking advantage of their time on the bench to try to get better and do what they can to make the team better.
Sykes goes 2 of 2 from the line. She hit 55 free throws in her first 6 games. That's a new WNBA record through her first 6. She's taking 11 free throws per game and has been really dynamic there as we see Ari McDonald in. Bonner too strong on a 3.
You can't foul Sykes. You got to try to keep her in front, and it's a challenge. The two quickest players in the W to me are Kelsey Mitchell and Brittany Sykes going at it right now.
Pass inside, Austin with the step through and a pretty left-handed finish.
Shakira Austin at 6'5" was a challenge for Indiana in the last matchup. She had 15 points, did a good job scoring on the block.
Beaver had the first 4. Washington has rattled off 8 in a row. Indiana's missed 5 straight shots. Mitchell catch and shoot and ends it with a 3.
Great screen on the baseline by Bonner. She occupied 2 defenders with that screen and gave Mitchell a wide open look.
Mitchell's knocked down 2 of her first 3 shots. A welcome sight here for Mitchell and the Fever. They're going to need her to play well, especially in this Clark absence. Austin right back at Boston, draws the foul.
And that will be 2 on Aaliyah Boston. Again in the first quarter. Are fantastic, almost a double-double. She had 7 assists in the last game, Pat, which is a career high for her. She is an excellent passer. Stephanie White was telling me today she thinks her defensive IQ is one of the best for a player that she's coached.
They're going to use her as a hub offensively with Clark out. Here's McDonald driving inside. Got some quickness as Dantas lines up and knocks down a 3.
Well, Ari McDonald doing a nice job getting penetration. They have 3 or 4 sets in that they will run offensively while McDonald is learning the system.
Stephanie White saying they want to keep things simple for her, especially here in this first game. And the foul called there on Kelsey Mitchell.
Conversation at this point in the season, since injuries are up and roster sizes have not changed. So I think it's going to be another point of discussion in the CBA. I think there's a lot of interesting things that are going to come out of that CBA. I'm excited about it.
Sykes nearly came up with the steal. There's McDonald to retrieve it. And then a foul off the ball going on Washington. Kelly Krauskopf brought up in an impromptu press conference after practice. She said, well, we've only got 11 players. You use the exception if you have under 10. So it really only takes a couple players going down to then invoke at least the ability to use it. Fever are only carrying 11 of the 12.
And the exemption allows you to go above the salary cap. That's the emergency part of it when you're a down player. So this is an opportunity for Ari, and it's a good opportunity for the Fever.
She has a lot of quickness. As Hull leans in, 1 step, bounce past Bonner.
Lexi Hull has been a star in her role all season. She shoots the 3 by percentage better than anybody in the league right now at 57%.
The rookie out of Notre Dame, Sonia Citron. Launching over Bonner. 3 ball off the mark. Dantas with the rebound. Bonner off the Dantas screen, sets up Dantas, who buries a 3.
Damiris Dantas is playing with a lot of confidence. Made some nice shots late in the game against Connecticut. That's a good 2-player game right there with a little pick and pop action.
Fever had the first 4. Washington responded with an 8-0 run. The Fever now on an 11-2 advantage. Miscommunication and stolen by McDonald, who races to the other end and finishes.
Well, if that doesn't get your engine going for Ari McDonald, comes right in the game and has an impact.
Feels like she's found a home in Washington, starting the season where she was last year for the first time in the WNBA. Bonner leaves that one short. Felt like there was a foul. Golson inside, deep position, and first a whistle.
Iriafin does a good job in transition. Once she gets DeWanna Bonner on her back, she doesn't give up.
Iriafin, face-up game, knocks it down.
She has been aggressive. She does not look like a rookie out there. She's not built like a rookie. She and Citron have done a really nice job.
In preseason, this is the 3rd time these 2 teams have seen each other. The early goings here in 2025. got her hands up and called for the foul on Dantas. Foster on opening day. Mitchell thought about that deep three. Indiana turns it over.
Brittany Sykes is yet to really get going. You got to come with a long closeout on Dolson. She's got tremendous three-point range, especially in the trail.
Makes her with a huge size advantage and takes advantage of it over McDonald. They've checked in a couple buckets here in 2 minutes. Dantas through traffic, draws the foul.
This is a one-on-one, low-post power game by Enxler. You see the size advantage. She just works hard to get to that left shoulder. Nice job using the glass with the contact.
So Damiris Dantas to the line here for the first time tonight for Indiana. She's knocked down a pair of three-point shots. This is an area where the Fever started off really poor but have been much better. The foul line. Fever at 63% through 4 games. They've shot 83% there in their last 2. They're still a league worst 71%, but it's coming up back to its averages. And Dantas sinks the pair. 8 points lead all scores here tonight. The Fever have 12 points off the bench here in the first quarter.
Mary McDonald doing a really good job moving her feet.
Sykes off balance, had that pass deflected, but Iriafin carving out space.
Yeah, right now it's points in the paint for Washington. That's 3 consecutive buckets inside at the rim.
Scored Indiana 12-6 in the paint here so far. Dantas can't make it 3 for 3. This is where Sykes is dangerous in transition. Golson picks her up, the step through, bank shot too strong. Iriafin's been aggressive, that one finds its way to Bonner. Pick up the pace here as McDonald launches and misses.
Yeah, maybe the last 2 threes too quick by Indiana. You gotta have a feel, right? You like to see when the defense is back, if you can get a couple of sides, move the ball. Don't let it stick.
Indiana's 16 shots have come from the three-point line. Washington's taken just 1 from out there. Iriafin might have to take a second. Instead, it's into Sykes, who just gets rid of it and can't connect on the.
I think for Indiana, I think they need to move the ball a little bit better. The last couple of possessions were quick, but I like what Ari McDonald has done early on. She's been outstanding, providing good ball pressure and facilitating up the floor.
Indiana's bench really key in that first quarter. They had 12 of their 19 points as Iriafin spins and rattles it home.
Wow, they are scoring points in the paint at ease, one-on-one. Let's see if Indiana will maybe consider making a change, bringing some help to those post-ups.
Fever don't have Boston after she picked up a couple of fouls. Don't have her currently. She's in foul trouble. Dantas has had the hot hand.
And you know, Pat, you don't have to throw the ball in the block and just score. You can play through the post as well. You just haven't gotten a piece of the paint. When Boston's going to come back in the game because Stephanie recognizes that they need to have her presence in there so they can establish something on the inside.
Oh, Colson, look at the aggressive hands. Nearly forced the turnover. It left Citron open. She can't pay it off with a 3. Bonner and McDonald not on the same page as we check back in with Kelsey.
Yeah, I like with Boston back on the floor. I think you trust her defensively not to commit another foul, and then I think you play to her and through her on the inside.
That's what Stephanie White said she wanted pregame, to be using Boston more as a hub offensively. Citron pulls up and knocks it down.
Get to the nail, that's money.
Boston, she checked out at the 5:12 mark of the first quarter. That second foul. Boston was held by Dolson underneath.
The line.
pull, aggressive drive. Had it blocked by Citron. Good defense there by the rookie. Melvin looking ahead, had it deflected, and Iriafen just pulls over McDonald, and an offensive foul is the call. That is Aaliyah Edwards, excuse me, who just checked in.
Mary McDonald is stuffing the stat sheet early. She's had an impact.
McDonald on the drive. Colson, extra pass, hole launches. Too strong there on the three ball. Boston was held to just 5 field goal attempts last week against Washington. A lot of this because of the foul trouble, but she's not taken a shot here in 6 minutes tonight. Melvin on the drive, gets inside and draws the foul. Second year in Washington. And now a message from CareSource.
Brought to you by CareSource. Individual.
So Kelsey Mitchell back in for Indiana. As Melvin misses a pair at the line. Been on a 12-2 run. They answer an 11-2 run by Indiana with a 12-2 run of their own. Being hounded by Citron. Aggressive defense in the backcourts. Boston. Bonner. Whistle off the ball going against Indiana.
I like Dolson.
Austin, lob inside, nobody home, and McDonald and Boston just couldn't get on the same page quickly enough. Knocked it away, and possession will stay here with Washington. And it'll be Indiana ball in anyway, as Sykes is called, Edwards is called for an offensive foul.
That's 2 quick ones on Edwards.
Beaver have not scored since the 1:08 mark of the first quarter. Scoreless here in the second. Boston getting that isolation she's been looking for and cashes in.
1-on-1. She demands a double every time she catches it that deep. It's just so tough to bring it.
Boston coming off a game on Friday where she was 8 of 10 from the field, 17 points, 8 assists. Now Austin will pull up and knock it down.
These two can go back and forth now, Boston and Austin. It's what we saw last week in that matchup in Baltimore.
Austin had 13 in that matchup, all in the first half. Boston, deep position, lays it in.
What a seal.
You called it. She has been automatic around the rim.
71% inside 5 feet. And those are contested shots.
And 2 for 2 to that tonight.
Look at Lexi Hall get skinny over the top of those screens.
Austin banks it home and a foul.
Yeah, she is a handful. 6'5", so good on the interior for Washington. Her passing ability, the way she reads, and then her defensive IQ. I'm not saying she's Alyssa Thomas, and Stephanie White didn't say that, but what she was doing was putting her in that context. Like, she could be as good a defensive player as Alyssa Thomas one day in this league. And that is high praise for Aaliyah Boston.
From a coach who, of course, knows those two players very well. Boston, who was an all-star as a rookie, all-star as a second-year pro, certainly seems destined to make that 3 for 3 here this year.
It's working. Feed the post.
Boston, pretty spin.
I mean, it's not a hard formula right now, and a good ATO by Indiana. There's your points in the paint. That's part of the reason why Indiana leads the league in that category. It's Aaliyah Boston's efficiency inside.
We're getting to the point where when she's on one-on-one coverage, it's an automatic bucket.
And she works on those 2 hard crab dribbles to the midline every day, I believe. Every time I see her, she's working on it. And there's a block.
Oh, and Boston had it blocked, and she thought she blocked it off of Edwards. And does Stephanie White want to take... And the challenge, as we expected, was successful. So Stephanie White will retain one more challenge to be used here for the rest of the evening. That block by Boston puts her one shy of tying 5th all-time in Indiana Fever history. That's Jessica Davenport. Colson, shot clock down to 7. Colson on the drive. Beautiful find. It's Boston.
What a nice slide into the vision of Sid Colson by Aaliyah Boston. Ever since Boston's been come back in the game after 2 fouls in the first quarter, Indiana has gone through her every time.
She's now got 8 points in 9 minutes. Was held scoreless in those first 5. Pretty step through by Sykes. Offensive rebound, Austin. Kick out Anxler. Her 3-ball too strong. Austin's been so aggressive, so effective. That shot won't go. Another offensive rebound here for Washington. Austin cross court, and Edwards rattles it home. Olsen, quick outlet. Mitchell on the attack. Edwards did just enough to contest it at the rim. Sykes lost the handle on the other end. Paid off of Boston.
Watch the penetration.
Weaver really having trouble on the glass here tonight. Washington has doubled Indiana up in the rebounding category. The Fever have been pretty good in 5th in the league in rebounding coming into tonight. Area Finn with 8 in the first half. Sykes has been a little quiet on the drive. Bank shot too strong. But a whistle and a foul.
That's the challenge of defending Brittany Sykes. You have to keep her off the free throw line to your stat and point.
7 free throws. So here's 70 and 71 coming. Those 67 were 12 more than anyone in the league, and she's missed a game this year.
That's her scout right there. There it is. She has improved her range. She's improved her playmaking ability. So she doesn't just drive into the paint just to score. She's capable of making a play for her teammates.
Looking inside for Bonner, knocked away, and there was contact as well. And a technical foul is called.
I mean, she must have said something. She got the foul call.
It might have been that ball slam at the end. It's tough to know intent there.
I mean, she did slam the ball down, but she must have said something. It's the The officials, if you slap the backboard stanchion or slap the stanchion or you do anything to show up what the officials consider showing them up, they're going to blow the whistle this year and call techs.
Available, but 2 early fouls and now a 3rd. She will almost assuredly sit until the second half. Let's check in with Kelsey Casper.
Boston was in this exact same situation on Friday versus Connecticut, where she had 3 fouls in the first half. And after the game in the post conference, she said, it's hard. Me wanting to be that post presence, having to sit back a little bit when the fouls are being called. She says it's really difficult for her, but she said that is all she had to say on it, because she said, quote, she loves her money, obviously trying to avoid the fine as well.
Kelsey, thank you.
Nobody wants to get fined.
So Area Finn on one end and Bonner on the other end. It's been a 3-point game here for long stretches, and Area Finn continues to show off that range.
She has been fantastic. She is 6 for 7 in the game. 12 first half points and 3 rebounds.
Cole on the blow by, the handoff to McDonald, who is fouled. We just look at this 2025 draft class. Paige Becker speaks for herself. What we're seeing here in Washington, what we saw from Sanaya Rivers the other day on Friday. I think Seattle is going to be very happy with their selection. Dominique Malonga as well. I mean, this has the potential to be one of the better drafts, I think, in recent memory.
I think there's a lot of talent in the league, and there's a lot of offensive talent, and that's what fans enjoy, right? That's the excitement of the league. It's the ability to counter and make the defense wrong. There are a lot of guards in this league that can do that.
Well, the Mystics might have felt a little rudderless by the end of last year, working out of the Elena Deladon era. They got off to a really, really tough start to their season, came on stronger, but missed the playoffs. And that move to trade Ariel Atkins got them that third pick and set up the Iriefin-Citron combo that, if Washington has their way, you might see them starting here for 15 years.
And Georgia Amore is on the trip. She is doing well off her ACL surgery. She's the point guard of the future for them.
Mitchell turns the corner, gets inside, and lays it in. And Mitchell now is 7 on 3 of 5 shooting, and an offensive foul. Iriefin turns it over.
Look at Mitchell. I'm telling you, Pat, what am I going to say about Mitchell? Shoulder pads, over the thigh pad. Nobody does it like Kelsey Mitchell. And she's been doing that since she was running the show for the Buckeyes.
Did we catch a too small in there as well?
I'm wondering if she did that. I thought that was a little...
Maybe a subtle one. Mitchell off the screen, launches, and buries a triple.
She gets her feet organized so quickly. Playing off a simple ball screen, going left.
She has that explosive ability. Kelsey Mitchell with 5 points. But they need Mitchell, they need Boston. The 2 All-Stars from a year ago. Bonner was an All-Star too, but you really look at those 2 to help carry the heavy load here during this stretch. The Fever are 0-2 without Clark.
Well, I can definitely tell you there's no panic. And that's exactly the way Stephanie White phrased it today at shoot-around. No panic. You know, the team is 2-4 and 4 losses by 1 or 2. And this is not a team that has played with a full rotation yet.
Well, this in large part to that dominant win on opening night, but the Fever are 3rd in the league in net rating. They're 4th in point differential, so those stats which tell you how you win and how you lose. As Bonner hits a 3, all of a sudden the floodgates have opened here for Indiana. Shot clock down to 5. Sykes just pulls over McDonald. It's an offensive foul.
What an incredible job Ari McDonald has done in the first half. Clearly an offensive foul here.
I'm impressed with how quickly she popped back up. That was heavy contact. Indiana now on a 9-0 run as they look to close out the first half strong here. Second differential shot clock and game clock. Mitchell's had the hot hand. Kick out. Bonner. Iriefin will get it to Sykes. And that'll take us into halftime, but the Fever have the final.